Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Motive, Social Motivation for the Creative Class. I'm your host, Tim Fulton, for the evening. We're here with our featured creative, Sangeeta Lakhani. Sang, how are you?
Really nervous.
A little bit nervous.
Very nervous.
Just a little bit nervous.
Just slightly.
Sang is the owner of The Table, former owner of Bodega, former owner of... Co-owner.
Married to owner.
Married to owner of
word
Hound
it.
Dogs. And then also Rivari Room by happenstance.
Well, it's called birthing two kids, but
Birthing-
happenstance is also a good word for it. Yeah. It
Talk-
was kind of happenstance.
Sang, talk about how you got into the restaurant industry from the beginning.
Default, really. Meeting and marrying my then husband, who had just opened Hound Dogs Pizza, I think a little less than a year before we met. Kind of fell into the industry by default, so started with the pizza world, as everybody does in this country, and grew from there to be the fine 21-year-old I am today.
And you then went on to start Bodega with Colin.
Yes.
And talk about, Colin was working at Rivari Room at the time, is that correct? And he came to you with an idea. He was like, I want to start a
Coffee shop.
coffee shop.
Italian Village Coffee.
Italian Village Coffee Shop, which as a current employee of Bodega's current iteration, but I remember receiving paychecks that said Italian Village Coffee, and I never knew that with the idea started with he wanted to start a coffee shop.
Correct.
And so you signed on to start a coffee shop?
No.
Why not?
No. Coffee wasn't as trendy as it is now. There were no pour-overs. There were no this slow coffee movement that we have right now. It takes a lot of coffee to pay the rent. It was just not a feasible thing for me then.
And so that got adapted and changed. A liquor license was acquired, and you signed on to do that.
Right.
And so did you guys have a vision for what it was going to be, or was your idea just, hey, we're going to start a bar in the short north? You know, sort of retail is trending north in the area. It certainly wasn't trending south because you can't go really any farther than the convention center.
Well, when we started Bodega, we opened in what then was the crack end. It was pimps and drug deals, and no, we had no concept of what we wanted to do, and everybody kept telling us that we were in the wrong end of town, and what are you doing there, and who's going to come to your restaurant? But our ideas grew so much, so fast, that is where the name Bodega actually came from, because by the end of it, all we needed to sell to actually make it a bodega was batteries and condoms. But we did have everything else. Well, and in the first
iteration, there was a box of cigarettes below the counter. It wasn't on the menu, but you certainly could buy cigarettes.
Yeah.
Primarily for the staff.
Maybe a little bit for me, but yes. It was just my personal stash.
Talk about sort of, let's do sort of a macro picture of what do you do as a restaurant owner? What do you see as your day-to-day job?
Jen, you want to field this question? We do the hiring, the firing. I do the menu planning. I work on recipes. I work on the plumbing when needed. I clean up puke when needed. I'm a counselor to 20 employees that have personal problems that they bring in every single day. The list is endless. There's nothing we don't do. So if anybody requires any services at all, I'm available for prime dollar after this session.
The price is a little bit higher now.
A little bit higher.
I would hope. Now, talk about, so people have a perception of what it's like to be a restaurant owner, and I know that you've talked about, when I was working with you at Bodega, you talked a little bit about you would point some guy out and be like, that guy just told me he's the owner of Bodega. Simply because people sort of wanted to have this, they wanted to be associated with this cool thing that was going on. Talk to me about what people think it's like and what you actually experienced? But I mean, you even start with the positive aspects of it, of, you know, people think that you're constantly doing paperwork and stuff like that, but you also have created this community around you, right?
Okay, so there are the two sides. There is the public perception of being a restaurant owner, which is really glamorous. We're rolling in it. We're really, really rich. Everybody loves everything we touch. None of that is true. Being a restaurant owner means you've signed over everything that you have. You're completely 100% in debt at all times. Um, it's amazing. There's a passion that goes into doing what we do. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not a 9-to-5 job. You don't get to leave your work at work when you go home. You carry it with you all the time. With Bodega being a bar, you know, it was really easy to get calls at 4 a.m. The drawers are short, so-and-so's drunk, there's a drunk girl in the bathroom that's locked herself in. It's a constant need out of you. Your work doesn't stop. But it is amazing. We meet the most amazing people. I met the most amazing people through Bodega. A lot of you grew up at Hound Dogs. That was awesome. Thank you for supporting my kids and my lifestyle. It's amazing. We meet people from every walk of life. We see regulars. We form relationships with a lot of you. And it's a very gratifying industry to be in.
So you started the table. Colin had started Seventh Son and was also doing the work Barrel and Bottle out of the North Market, and then you guys had the opportunity to sell.
Yes.
So talk to me first of all. That story isn't really public about how the sale happened. It's not so much of a story. Give the very glamorous thing that happened, and then
he signed the check. It was really glamorous.
And then what it was like to sort of leave that, and how that decision-making process happened.
These questions seem so cut and dry. No, it's funny because every time you've asked me about this, I've kind of reflected on it a little bit more. So the sale of Bodega happened, which was amazing. We shut down Bodega for a long overdue renovation. We're not going to go into what people think about it, but we needed to do it, and we went into what we thought was a long overdue renovation. Well, while we were closed for renovation, rumors, as they do in our very small community in Columbus, spread, and apparently we'd shut down and we were going out of business, and Bodega was for sale. Out of that came a couple of offers because people heard through the grapevine that we were for sale.
I want to repeat what just happened. The grapevine created a rumor that they shut down and were for sale, and as a result, 2 offers came in for the bar.
Yep. Was I not clear?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that it was heard what happened.
So, initially there's no, I'm not going to sell it. That's crazy. This is my baby. It's Bodega. I just put in all this money into the renovation. Why would I do that? And then came the reality and was like, wow, how many people in my industry actually get to sell their business and walk away? Most restaurants get to a point where their lease is up, their landlord kicks them out, they shut their doors and move on, or multiple reasons besides actually somebody wanting to buy your business. And it's amazing. It's amazing to know that you created something that somebody can put a dollar value on.
Can we talk about, you had 2 offers, and the reason why you chose one, was it money?
No, the money was the same.
Okay.
One buyer wanted to come in with his team, his management team, put his employees in place and, I mean, granted, of course, he wanted to do that. The other offer came from somebody that was willing to keep our employees on, which was huge for us. We didn't want to, throw that on people that have given us so much loyalty for so many years. And it's Bodega. It's the brand of Bodega. It's, if you're going to buy Bodega, you got to buy it for what it is, not for what you want it to become. But yeah, that was the biggest thing for us.
And so, any other sort of reflections on building something up and then letting go?
It's huge. I mean, I think really it would be easier to give up one of my teenage kids right now than, it was to give up Bodega. It really is difficult. But
teenagers are the worst. So,
right, exactly.
Right.
And they are also for sale for the right amount. Plug. No, it is. It's a huge identity crisis. I mean, I'm Mama Sang. I was Mama Sang. Who am I without that?
You're Mama Sang now with the table.
Yeah, but
right?
It's not the same. I grew up with these kids. Not only did I hire them, but I grew with them. I became the owner of the table because of what I learned through this process.
Of doing
that
Bodega.
It was a huge identity crisis after selling Bodega.
What do you do functionally? Let's assume that the business models are exactly the same. Not talking about brunch and dinner, not talking about liquor sales or anything like that. Let's assume the business models are exactly the same. What is the biggest difference that you've made between the table and Bodega, or between Bodega and the table?
I'm actually cooking food at the table. It's a grown-up version. It's a reflection of who I am at this point in my life. I mean, Bodega was who I was 12 years ago, 10 years ago. The table is who I am today. What I want for my life, what I want for this city, what I see best for what Columbus has to offer right now. It's my take on all of that right now.
10 years from now, what are you doing?
10 years from now, I'm sitting on a beach. None of you are going to see me. Don't visit me. We're not going to be friends. I don't know. I think about that a lot. I've done this, and the reason I made the reference to me being 21 is because I've been in this industry for 21 years. Hound Dogs was 21 years ago for me. I don't know. I'm just starting to live again. I'm 21. I don't know. What do you do at this age? You get drunk? You party a lot?
Yeah, let's fuck around. Yeah.
10 years from now? Who cares? There's no 10 years from now. When I was 21, in 10 years, I thought I was going to be dead. It'll happen. We'll do this again. We'll sit here.
Yeah.
Except I'll be on a screen from the beach. You'll see my toes. There'll be the ocean in the background.
We'll Skype you or whatever platform it is at that point. We'll bring
yeah.
you in.
It'll be a surprise. You guys will grow with me. We'll see what we do in 10 years.
Sang, thank you very much. If you guys could please give her a round of applause.
Thank you.